He had already expected that as he was confronting a first-level bloodline person. Suddenly, the golden mammoth locked on San and started to close on him. The next attack was for sure about to hit him, as the golden mammoth's breath was locked on San. To confront this, San activated the purple demon eye. This spirit was so powerful that San was able to break through the golden mammoth's breath and counterattack him as well. San then saw an opportunity to attack the giant golden mammoth on his bare chest. As he attacked his chest, he bounced back like it was a trampoline. Everyone in the crowd started laughing at San, and his attack was as little as tickling the giant golden mammoth. Suddenly, the golden mammoth's heart started hurting very painfully. He was shocked that a little slap from San did that to him. The golden mammoth dropped both his hammers on the floor. He again made a loud sound. He was no longer able to fight with San. This was all because of the little slap from San on his chest. It made his heart ache like hell. This made everyone in the crowd speechless. The mammoth's clan members who were laughing at him before got shocked, and their jaws dropped. San made the whole crowd speechless and surprised yet another time. The great golden mammoth started shouting out loud because of the extreme pain he was suffering in his heart. Something was wrong. The big golden mammoth was sitting on his knees in front of San. Everyone in the crowd was shocked. They thought it was a match fixing, as a little slap like that could not possibly bend down a giant. But in reality, San just had a successful punch. He attached 3 bloodline powers to his palm: Peacock Transformation, Liger Transformation, and the Blue-Silver Emperor. He first used the Liger Transformation to devour and weaken the opponent's defense. Then he used the Peacock Transformation's teleportation power to send the Yin and Yang powers directly toward the golden mammoth's heart. This was a new move he came up with. He named it the 3-Palm Transformation. Although the abilities transferred were not much, they had the ultimate attributes. Even the strong golden mammoth couldn't survive them as they burst out at the most vulnerable heart. However, this move moved the balance of the powers inside his body. He couldn't use it more than once a day. Then, San stepped up to finish the game. He rushed quickly towards the golden mammoth with his attack. It seemed as if the golden mammoth would not survive the next attack. Fortunately, San did not attack the mammoth at all and asked him to accept defeat instead. The great golden mammoth had accepted defeat from San right in front of everyone in the Ancestral Court's solo competition. The host then announced that San had won the round. Everyone found that performance very strange and did not expect that from San. Everyone thought of it as match-fixing and did not take it seriously. No human could do that, so everyone thought of San as an ordinary human being. San then treated the golden mammoth with his special powers and healed him in no time. This shocked the mammoth yet another time. He asked him about that power, but San ignored him. He introduced himself to San. His name was Mao, and he proceeded to ask him as well. San replied that his name was Shura. The golden mammoth was really disappointed in himself. First, he pretended to be the pig and kill the tigers, but now he really became the pig. He thought to himself that his grandpa would beat him to death if he returned. It was really over for him. He was disqualified and kicked out of the Ancestral Court's competition. San then went to see the big cat. The big cat asked him if he won that quickly or lost. San replied positively. He had won just in time, as it was now the big cat's turn to fight. This was going to be quite interesting for him. On his way to the fighting ring, the big cat was thinking about his clan. His clan was always called a cursed clan by people, and was despised by the entire world. He really had to show them his real true power and prove them all wrong. This was his time to shine. He was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and he could not waste the opportunity. All of his clan was starving and struggling to survive. For the sake of his own clan, he had to fight in the Great Colosseum again and again to earn some money. He really hated this curse and wanted to get rid of it as soon as possible. He hated his powerlessness even more. If it weren't for Shura's appearance, he would still be venting his anger in the life and death fights. He changed his clan's fate and saved them from their Great Depression. That day, he stepped into the arena, but this time he was no longer fighting for survival. He was fighting for his and his clan's glory. He needed the victory for the rise of his clan. He wanted to show everyone how powerful his Liger clan really was. As he entered the arena, everyone started cursing him and shouted that he was not allowed there as he was from a despised clan. His opponent was the Golden Ape, the top bloodline of the Ape Demon clan. He was a second-level bloodline. As the fight started, the Golden Silk Ape rushed toward the big cat, who was standing still, unfazed. As the ape reached closer and closer to the big cat, he swung his gigantic sword toward the Golden Silk Ape's face. He shouted so loud that everyone who did not believe him had to know that he was going to destroy the Golden Silk Ape with his gigantic sword. The big cat was filled with rage and could not afford to lose. He converted all this anger and deprivation into his fight and swung into the Golden Ape's face with full force. The Golden Silk Ape was killed by one single strike of the big cat. This was because the strike was filled with rage and offense, and it could not have been more perfect and powerful. One single strike was enough to completely kill the golden silk ape. From this, everyone could really estimate the real power of the big cat's bloodline level 1. He shocked everyone in the crowd. Everyone was wondering if the Liger and Tiger clan's bloodline conflict was resolved or something. After all that, San congratulated the big cat on his wonderful victory. The big cat gave San the stick with which he killed the golden ape. The matches were over for both of them. The big cat asked San if he was going to see Mei's match or not. San said that the big cat could leave earlier and have some rest while he watched for Mei's fight. However, the big cat refused, and they both went to watch her match together. After not long enough, it was Mei's turn to fight. Mei's opponent was not that terrifying. It was a member of the Golden Fox clan with a second bloodline level. Mei was a first-level bloodline, so there should be no difficulty for her to fight the Golden Fox. However, she should not be careless as she had recently advanced to the 9th cultivation level. Mei was really confident in her fight. The three main talents of the Golden Fox clan were speed, illusion, and charm, but Mei was also a female, so charm was useless against her. As the fight started, the Fox Girl transformed into several bodies of herself. This was intended to confuse Mei, but she had another trick up her sleeve. When the Fox Girl rushed towards her, she used her power of space to cut the space. This made the area surrounding the Fox Girl compress more and more. If the area were compressed at this rate, the Fox Girl would be crushed to her death. This power was really powerful, and Mei had learned to take control of it. As the area shrunk around the Fox Girl, she became more and more worried. This made her surrender and retreat. She had to forfeit from the fight, or else she would have lost her life. Just like that, Mei had won her first fight in the competition. Everyone did not expect that after a year of seclusion, her power of space would become this strong. This was a shock to everyone watching the fight. After the fight, the big cat decided to go back. However, San stayed there. He was planning to spend more time with Mei and discuss his double tournament. However, that didn't seem to be needed anymore. After the family test, the ability of Mei to control her power of space became very strong and stable. A few days ago, Mei had gone somewhere to take a family test. It was really dark in there, and Mei did not know if it was the right place. She did not quite know the content of the test. All she knew was that it was related to the power of space. She used the stone of blessing that Shura gave her there, as it was going to increase her luck and help her in any way possible. Bringing it with her increased her chances of passing the test. She was very confident that she was able to pass the test with ease. Then she prepared and entered the test. This test was going to decide if the power of space ability should be Mei or not. Through this test, Mei could increase her fighting skills and techniques by a mile. It would really help her in the competition, which was going to be helpful a few days later. This made her more and more serious about the test, as she was willing to do anything to win the tournament held in the Ancestral Court. This test could decide Mei's chances of winning in the tournament. If she passed the test, she would automatically be more confident in the competition. Hence, her chances of winning will increase by a lot. When Mei entered for the test, a circular altar appeared under her feet. The surroundings also turned into an endless starry sky. The silver light emitted from the altar was the power of space. She felt like there was an existence similar to that of the circular altar that appeared under her feet. Suddenly, the surroundings lit up brightly. It was so bright that it was hard to even see her. However, as soon as the power of space shot into the sky, the altar turned completely black. The power of space quickly turned into thousands of countless balls of light. This was really wonderful to experience with the naked eye. It was a pleasant experience for Mei so far. She was confused about what that exactly meant as she was there for a test. Suddenly, bright silver lights started to shoot up from Mei's feet. This was supposed to be the content of the test. If she got hit with one of the silver lights or made contact with them, she would lose her body parts. Her task was to avoid the bright silver lights at all costs. These lights were being shot towards Mei from all directions. This made her very conscious. She dodged the bright lights at all costs. There were several more lights coming towards her. She didn't know what to do. Then she realized she maybe had to use Heaven's secret dance to detect the changes in space. Mei started dancing gracefully. To her surprise, she dodged all the lines of space and got through them. She passed through the gaps of the lights pretty easily. She dodged countless space lights. Gradually, her spiritual power could no longer hold it. However, on the other hand, the space lights were only increasing in number and showing no sign of decreasing, even the slightest. The powers of space that had been avoided or dodged were reintegrated into the altar. At this point, there was still a considerable black area on the altar. Heaven's secret dance required Mei's spiritual power to sense the change in space. The only problem for her was that intervals between the attacks were so low that she did not have any time to even catch her breath. There were still a lot of light rays falling at full speed. All of a sudden, Mei remembered the crystal mirror Shura gave her. She pulled out the crystal mirror and tried to make good use of it. She also slowed the time to her favor. This was really helpful to Mei, and she was no longer worried that she was going to be hit by extremely bright, strong light rays. She was no longer overwhelmed. While avoiding the rays, she also had time to recover now. Although the duration of time was not long now, May had some time to catch her breath. Also, during that time, she gained a new understanding of heaven's secret dance. She was able to change the power of space, therefore changing its trajectory. This was the correct use of the heaven's secret dance. The test had become easier for May than before. As soon as the last few lights of space were absorbed into the altar, it turned completely silver. She also ended heaven's secret dance. Suddenly, a giant swan-like creature appeared right in front of her, and she was shocked. Had she completed the test, or was there more to come? As the swan appeared out of nowhere, it came closer and closer to May. The swan was ginormous. It scared her to death. She was really nervous to face it. It was her first time to experience something like that. After the swan came close enough to May, she flapped her wings aggressively. This made the swan emit hundreds of light rays out of her wings. Upon viewing this, May was really shocked. The light rays surrounded her and somewhat raised her into the air. She was totally covered with the rays and levitating in the air. Apart from that, she also felt some changes inside her. After the swan, suddenly, a golden peacock crown appeared on May's head. The indication of the peacock crown meant that she had passed her test. She had eventually passed the test of the power of space. She must have gained a lot of strength to pass this test. This strength would really help her compete in the tournament, which was held several days ahead. After the announcement of passing the test, she also got a heaven secret plume for passing the test. This plume was quite different from before and seemed much more powerful. That should be the form displayed following the recognition. She claimed the heaven's secret plume. As soon as she acquired possession of it, it made her grow peacock wings. Giant peacock wings appeared surrounding May as she descended the stairs. Out of the blue, some strange images started to appear in May's mind. She had no idea what the images coming from heaven's secret plume really meant. They must be hinting at something for May to do. This test was really strange and mysterious. She had no idea what to expect at any moment. Anything was possible during this test, and there was no particular content. The intense situation made her more and more cautious. The light at the last wing of the feather seemed different to her. It was nothing like what she had experienced. Something was different about this feather, and she was curious to know what it was. All of a sudden, she took a look at the feather. An indescribable feeling of fear appeared inside her heart as she took a glance at the feather. She quickly shifted her sight to something else, which made the feeling go away. This meant that she could not look at the feather directly, or else it would create a feeling of fear inside her mind. One of the most used abilities of Heaven's secret plume was to show Heaven's secrets. Could what May saw also be a Heaven's secret? She was highly curious about the mysteriousness of Heaven's secret plume. She wanted to get the hang of it so she could use it properly for its correct purpose. Maybe what she saw was going to happen in the future. It was Heaven's secret plume hinting and warning her about the future. Meanwhile, after the fight, May returned to her residence from the competition venue. Thanks to the 2 devices Shura gave to her, she was able to pass the inheritance test. But would that affect Shura as well? Shura must be nerfed because he donates devices to her. She also did not understand the match between Shura and the great golden mammoth. All she knew was that it wasn't match fixing. She was really surprised that Shura was able to end the match with just one soft slap. She was a little nervous to fight side by side with him the other day. Meanwhile, San went to the mountain climbing area again. He asked the big cat to climb the Sword Saint Palace mountain while he climbed the Heavenly Fox mountain. He had greatly developed and upgraded from the Yin and Yang energies. Therefore, he must not back off and waste this opportunity. He remained at the Heavenly Fox mountain for about 2 hours. Then he quickly shifted his way to the earthly Yin holy mountain. This time, San absorbed the holy energy of Yin very carefully. After absorbing the Yin energy, he invoked a trace of Yang energy to fuse with it. He was not in a hurry or impatient at all. This provided the energies more and more time to fuse together. Every time he absorbed a trace of Yin energy, the energy intensity of the Yin and Yang vortex increased drastically. By the end of the night, San had already gone back and forth twice. The Yin and Yang energies in his body had increased 4 times as much as before. This time, San was left surprised yet again. He noticed that a small part of the energy was left in a neutral and peaceful state of energy. As the Lord King, San recognized this energy at a glance. It was the energy of chaos. It was the next day. This day was very important for San. The main reason was that it was the doubles tournament that day. He was really excited to participate along with May as her duo. He got excited just by thinking about it. It was time for May and San to fight with their 3-5 combinations together again. Cultivating the energy of chaos made him feel really powerful and confident. Just one night of cultivation had already improved it in almost all aspects. The day before, San realized that the energies of Yin and Yang in his body had merged to form the energy of chaos. This made him very shocked. He used this energy to cultivate. When heaven and the earth had not even opened, there was chaos. The spiritual energy that light required was the energy of chaos. San had only seen this kind of energy when he was a Lord King. It was a great tonic for any life form at any cultivating level. This day he would try his absolute best to show off his skills in front of Mei. As time passed, Mei also arrived at the Ancestral Court's competition venue. They both then lined up to draw. Today was a double match, so the schedule was shorter than the previous day. Mei and San had to wait a lot. The line was very long. Mei looked more and more like Wu in San's eyes. That moment was his happiest moment since he came to that world. Competing side by side with Mei was San's dream, and it had been completed on that day. He planned to guard her at all costs and let no one even touch her. He really wanted to show off his skills in front of her so she would be impressed. Perhaps she was already impressed with his skills. She was keen to know how he slapped the golden mammoth and how he did it. He explained to her that he fused several energies together and transmitted them to the golden mammoth's heart, therefore defeating him. She was shocked as she had no idea if that was even possible before. He then explained to her that space was not only just external, it was also inside the person's body. She was immensely enlightened upon knowing that information. San asked her if she wanted to learn the skill too, to which she responded that she would love to, but in her free time. Their draw was up. San used the Heavenly Fox's luck on Mei, and she drew the number 8. This meant that they had to line up very quickly, as they would fight very early after the contest started. Mei asked San if he had any tactics for the fight. After the retreat, she had achieved the level of spatial assimilation. She had improved so much that San told her to lead the attack and that he would assist her. She was in a huge shock when San knew she had reached the level of spatial assimilation. Anyhow, letting go of the situation, the two of them sat and waited for their turn in the arena. The big cat had no time that day, so he decided to not come. After some time, the wait for their turn was over. They were up against Group 7. Group 7 consisted of the Spider Tree Spirit and the Corpse Devourer Spirit from the Spirit Clan. Both of them had second-level bloodlines, so they were not that strong. The day before, San had absorbed a lot of Yin and Yang energy, and the Blue-Silver Emperor Grassbrand was no longer enough to reconcile them. This was a good time to take advantage of the game, absorb more powerful bloodline power, and fuse it to enhance. Their bloodline levels were both at the second level, which was just fine enough to be absorbed. Because they were not that strong, San and Mei decided to fight on their own. Mei had to handle the Spider Tree Spirit while San fought the Corpse Devourer Spirit. The host announced that the match had begun. Both of the offensive team members rushed towards San and Mei. Mei had to activate her power of space to tackle the Spider Tree Spirit.